Here at our studio garden orchard, we also received a little bit of freeze damage. We probably lost a couple of trees, but when it comes to our peach trees, we weren't affected nearly as bad as they were at Perkins, and that's because of our planting location, and we have a little bit more protection. But let me cut into the tree here and show you the degree of damage that we have. And really you see good clear green color all the way out, and mainly just a little bit of browning around the edge. And really there's been a chart designed to help kind of clarify some of that various degrees of damage. And we're going to put that on the screen for you, and if you've got a rating of anywhere between 1 and 3, really there's nothing to be concerned about. You may have gotten a little bit of damage, but a 1 is pretty much normal, and really with those first 3 degrees of symptoms, you just need to go on with normal practices that you would have in the orchard. Now if you received a 4, 5, or 6 as far as a damage rating that you've identified when you're checking your own trees, you need to know that there may be a little bit of a variation or some effects or side effects from that freeze damage. First of all, the tree may come out normally in the spring, and then within a few weeks all the leaves drop off and it will die on you. And that's very possible in any of those other stages. Or you may even get a delay in bloom set or leaf set. So those are some normal symptoms that you might see. But if you get a 4, 5, or 6 rating, try not to do too much pruning on the tree to start with this late winter, early spring. You might want to thin the fruit out a little bit to kind of help on the load and the overworking of the tree. Give it minimal fertilizer, and then if we get under any drought conditions, then I would give a little bit of water. Now, the areas that you're really going to be concerned with are 7 or 8, and you may possibly get some limb death. Again, the tree may leaf out for you, then die. It's a much greater risk of getting some canker later on in the life cycle. And if this is the case for your trees, I would encourage you to not do any pruning. If you do get any fruit on it, go ahead and pull the fruit off so again it doesn't stress the tree. Don't give it any fertilizer unless it's just a minimal amount. Most of us overdo it when the trees are sick. And again, watch your watering. Now the last category is 9, and obviously that's the most severe, in which most cases the tree is dead and it won't recuperate, and the best thing to do is just to pull the trees out. I'm checking our Japanese or Oriental persimmon, and with that coloration you can tell that that is definitely a 9. And we told you that with the 9 it's pretty good chance that the tree is dead and probably should be pulled up. But the exception to the rule is with the Oriental persimmon that it's not really a grafted variety, or at least this particular one isn't. So it will send up suckers from the root system that we could allow to form into another tree. However, this is the 3rd year out of 5 years that this tree has died back to the ground, so it's telling us that we're really outside of its growing climate. Now on your peaches and apples, if those sucker up, those are grafted onto a rootstock, and it's not a good idea to keep those suckers unless you're going to try to graft onto them at a later date. So go ahead and check the trees, and as a summary, really check your Oriental persimmons or other trees that are out of their growing climate. Peaches, nectarines, plums, those types of things are going to be a little bit more susceptible. And then your apples, pears, and cherries really are more cold hardy, so you should have less damage with those particular types of fruit trees. Now another interesting thing is that with the pecans, some of the younger suckers or seedlings, or even some of the younger trees, maybe 5 years or less, have also shown some damage. So don't forget about the pecan trees that might be out in your orchard or home garden too. Now last week we told you that we'd be spending some time on pruning on today's show, but really you need to check the trees to see if they're cold damaged, because that has an impact on how much you want to prune them. So we spent a lot of time trying to get everybody ready for that. So if you'll join us next week, we will be spending a lot of time on pruning fruit trees. So we'll see you next week on Oklahoma Gardening.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. and join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.